holy day, and we're going to pray and fast for the rest of the world for this pandemic to, if it be our Creator's will, to help us find humility and help it subside. So those are some things that I like to do. 3 things right there.
Love it. Thank you for sharing that.
What about your heater, Chad? You can't.
Oh, you had to bring that up, right? You had to bring that up, my heater. So for those of you that don't know, and I don't know if we're live on Facebook yet or not.
We are now live on Facebook.
Okay.
Yes.
You were just asking me what are 3 things that I love, and one of them, in fact, it's funny that you should ask because it's right here. Is it unplugged? Can I use? So this is very important to me. I got it. We're good. This, I'll back up so you can all see this. So I'm a quadriplegic, which means I'm 95% numb. This is something that you can purchase at Walmart, but once you open her up and give her a name, I'm telling you, she becomes part of your eternal vows. Her name is Mary, and I turn her on and I can turn her off. She keeps me warm all night long, no covers needed. And I have one in my office. I have one by my bed. I have one in the bus. I have one at the lodge. I mean, Mary is everywhere. And I'm not saying that I don't like my wife. I didn't say that. I just want you all to know that I love Mary. That's all. So maybe we can
love you back. I know how much you love your heaters, Chad, and you take one with you everywhere you travel, right?
I do.
All over the world.
Do. It's right in the suitcase.
Awesome. You know who is on Zoom, we do have a chat box, so I will jump up. Oh, Eric's already said hello. So I just sent a message there. So if you are on Zoom and if you have any questions or anything you would like to share with Chad during his message sharing, please jump on and do that. We will make sure that we keep our eye on that.
Yep.
And then
same thing with Facebook. So since we are live on Facebook, you're able to ask any question that you would like to Chad going forward. So just comment on the video and we are monitoring that as well. So if you have any questions, then let us know. Chad says hello in the chat box, you guys.
I love it. Chad, thank you for doing this. What we're going to do is I'm just going to share a little bit about you, and then we're just going to have you dive in and just kind of let us know what's going on in your world and what message you would like to share today. So Chad is a good friend of mine. I met him through Ryan Barton, who is another good friend of mine. And Chad has been a really great mentor. And if you don't have anyone that you look up to, definitely seek that person, because it's amazing to be able to be inspired by people out there who are really up to amazing things. So with that said, here's a little bit about Chad. And this is a little bit. So Chad Hymas.
Just make a little.
A little bit. Chad Hymas is a life coach, trainer, author, and a keynote speaker. In 2001, Chad was involved in a serious accident. A 2,000-pound hay bale landed on him when he was working on his farm, and it paralyzed him from the neck down. But Chad's dreams were not paralyzed that day, because as you can see, he's keeping himself very busy.
So Chad started his professional speaking company designed to motivate businesses and corporations to use their wings and reach seemingly impossible heights. The Wall Street Journal calls Chad one of the top 10 most inspirational people in the world.
Chad has shared his personal message and entertained Chad, many audiences from organizations such as Wells Fargo, Blue Cross Blue Shield, Ford, IHC, Coca-Cola, and the Utah Jazz.
He is a certified speaking professional who has been featured on NBC, Wall Street Journal, Entrepreneur CBS, Business Wheel ABC, and even She Sparks Business.
Oh, congrats, Chad. Last but not least, Chad Hymas, is his greatest accomplishment is that he remains a devoted husband and to his loving wife, Shondell, and a proud father of 4 children. So with that said, let's give a virtual applause for Chad Hymas. All right, Chad, all yours.
Thank you guys so much for hosting me. It's truly an honor to be here with you today. I'll give our attendees all a promise today. In the few short minutes that I spend with you, I promise to deliver to you no hyperbole. I'm not going to make things look the way that they aren't. I promise you to be real and be authentic, and to share with you things that that I'm not pretending to be. You all deserve that. And then I'm happy to answer questions that you might have. I feel like I'm an open book. I have become more vulnerable in the past 4 weeks, 4.5 weeks, perhaps my entire life. You know, I thought that breaking my neck and losing my hands, that's why my hands are curled. You can see that in the video. So I am paralyzed, as mentioned, from the armpits to the toes. So the only thing keeping me upright is my wheelchair. I'm one of the few quadriplegics that push a wheelchair with numb hands. I'm numb from the elbow to the fingertip. Let's get back to this. I don't know that my accident, just celebrated 19 years ago last week. I don't know that my accident 19 years ago made me feel any worse than what's going on right now with all of us. So while I might be sitting here on a screen in front of all of you, numb physically, I do realize that there are many listening to this that are paralyzed financially, emotionally, mentally, intellectually, and going through challenges that you never dreamed would be in existence in your life 30 days ago or 40 days ago. So with that, let me in the next few minutes share with you some of the things that have helped me to take an experience of paralysis, which is what we're all going through, and turn it into something of significance. And I believe that if you'll hold true to some of these principles, you'll experience some of the same results that I have experienced when the cycle turns. And let me reiterate, the cycle always turns. We're not going to be stuck in this forever. So don't get your mindset in that slum. We're not going to be paralyzed in this economy the way it is forever. Oh, don't get me wrong. It's going to hurt. And I don't think it's going to be over in 30 days. It's going to be different for all sorts of businesses and families. But this too shall come to an end. But don't think that it's not going to leave lasting changes. I mean, my paralysis didn't turn me back into the person I was before. I mean, you can see that physically, but it also changed my mindset. It changed the way that I think about things. It changed the way that I value relationships. It changed the way that I discipline and teach my children. My experience of breaking my neck changed my physical relationship with my wife. It changed the way that I think about chastity. I'm not here to talk about all that. It's not my expertise. I'm just telling you, a lot of people treat that like it's a game. You wouldn't if you lost it. And so maybe there's a message right there for our viewers is don't wait to lose something, which we're all going through right now, before you hold something sacred in your life. So one of the things that I'm really trying to focus on right now is not how much money can I make in the business or how can I find a way to make an income for my family. Don't get me wrong, that has crossed my mind, but what's most important are relationships. I mean, people don't care how much you know about being a speaker or a motivator, or how much you feel like how many books you've written, until they know that you care about them. I want you all to know that I am not being paid to come on Cheese Box today. I am not. I'm not doing this because I expect a favor back from Sharon or team. I am here today because I know what happens when you do what's most important to you. What's most important to me, some people call it a love language. I don't. I just like to help people. I like to be around people. We shouldn't be social distancing. We're a social people. We should be physical distancing, but still be social. That's why we're on this. I'm completely anti-social distancing. So thank God for Zoom, for Facebook Live, for Teams, Microsoft, for Snagit, for FaceTime, for all these different ways that you can connect while physically distancing. Social, we need that more now than ever. So back to the relationship piece. They said that I inspire. I don't know if I agree with that or not. I just want you to ask yourself this question as we come into a weekend that's very sacred for many, many people in this country. What are you doing to inspire other people? The word inspire means to breathe life into. So when you go home tonight, or if you're home now, I'm assuming you're most all of you are probably home, working from home. When you leave the office, or when you leave the front room, wherever your computer screen is at right now, or your phone, and you run into somebody that's in your family, what are you going to do to breathe life into them? I'm not talking about mouth to mouth. I'm talking about making them want to be around you more. That's what I have been focused on the last 30 days. And ladies and gentlemen, when you look for that, and then the cycle turns, things just start opening up for you. Windows just start opening up. Doors just start opening up. Before my accident, 19 years ago, my focus was on being successful because I identified that with the amount of income that I made and how big I was able to grow a company. I never wanted to be a speaker or an author. My dream has always been to be a farmer with a contractor background, landscaping background. It's always been my dream. Since the accident happened, since the decline of my economy, which was the broken neck, I've tried to, now I haven't mastered it yet, but I've tried to find to make a greater contribution. And in so doing, I found a way to still live my dream and be a farmer. I don't have to wear cowboy boots or Wranglers or be out in the alfalfa field with the cattle and the horses to be a farmer. Today, I'm a farmer of people, all because of engaging with people, trying to find a way to breathe life into somebody else when they're not doing. How can I help? What can I do to serve you kids? How can I help you with your schoolwork that you're doing on the computer? Sweetheart, I know it sucks to be a senior in high school in 2020. I know it sucks. I know it's so bad. Can I sit by you on your computer and can we look at some alternatives to socialize with your friends? And how can I help you with your homework? I don't even understand her classes, but she doesn't want me to understand them anyway. She just wants me by her side. Remember, breathe life into somebody. What are you doing to be with somebody, to inspire somebody? If you do nothing else this holy weekend, find someone to breathe life into. What are you doing for your spouse? What are you doing for your parents? Are you willing to make a phone call to them to let them know that you're thinking about them, to let them know that you want to make sure they're doing okay during this time? And I'm not just talking about okay physically. People hide their mental emotions very well. I'm one of them. What are you doing to dive deep into making sure that people are mentally okay before they take their life? That's called proactive versus reactive. Reactive will say something like this: oh, we never saw it coming. We never. I can't tell you how often I hear that when I go and talk to a bunch of students in an assembly hall, or my office gets emails. I mean, Leslie's right here with me, and we get emails because they want me to contact the family. And I'm not against that. I'm just simply saying, and I'm happy to help where I can, but that's reactive, not proactive. What are we doing to make sure that people are mentally doing okay, focusing and reading and looking at things on the internet and television, keep their mind in a positive state, not a negative state? Because I'll make this promise to you right here. Whatever you put inside your mind, very similar to what you feed your body, it's got health written all over it. Whatever you put in your head, whatever you're looking at with your eyes, whatever podcast you're listening to, will dictate your actions the second computer off. Actions always dictate results to others because of what you fed your mind. So please be careful what you're thinking right now about this Facebook Live and, She Sparks and the podcasts that Sharon puts out, and be careful what you think about other people's beliefs. Don't be so quick to judge. Don't be so quick to pre-assume. We've been invited tomorrow to worldwide, no matter what your belief is, no matter what you worship or who you worship, we have been invited as a humanity, as a people, to come together, no matter where you come from, what school you go to, what your skin color is, what country you might come from, what or who you may worship, even if you don't believe in anything. We have been invited as a human people, where we are losing thousands by the day, to gather together from all four quarters of the earth and to ask for help. Are you willing to do that because you have a love for humanity? I didn't say you had to have a full belief and a testimony of God or Allah or Buddha. I don't even think that the Creator's worried about that. I don't think he's overly whelmed with statistics. That's just me. I'm not a scriptorian. I don't think that God, and that's who I call him, but what makes me better than the people in Thailand that call him Buddha? Nothing. I think God wants to see what we're willing to do to come together, not separate ourselves because of our differences, whether it be faith or whether it be fact or fiction, phenomenon. That matters. I believe to him. What matters is, are we willing to come together? We've been invited to come together tomorrow. Some of us have been asked or are willing to forsake a couple of meals. We'll start as a family tonight at 6 o'clock. We're gonna have dinner together, and we won't eat again until tomorrow at 6 p.m. Why are we doing that? I don't know. There's something about going without food that makes people humble. There's something about going without something that you need and you depend on that makes you humble. Like hands. I know when I lost my hands, I mean, it's humbling. To have people be my hands, it's very, very humbling. To have people help me get dressed when I wear clothes that are not like this, but maybe a tie and a button-up shirt, it's humbling. The past 4 weeks for me have been very humbling because I'm not used to being around Shondell so much. I mean, there's maybe a point we can share right there. I share a thought here with you.
Are we going to be seeing a picture of Shondell, Chad?
Well, I'll just kind of pick and choose what I want.
Oh, there we go.
Are we good?
Yes, we're good.
So Shondell and I just celebrated 25 years. One of the most difficult things for me is to have her help me. For the last 19 years, I've been able to get away with that because my scapegoat has been a hotel room, a stage in a hotel, an airplane. But we've been quarantined from that for the last 4 weeks. So I've been with my wife more the last 4 weeks than I have the last 19 years. I can't recall a time the last 19 years where I've been home for 4 weeks. March 6th was my last event away before I self-quarantined in Las Vegas. And it has been I told you I'd be honest, no hyperbole. It's been life-changing for me. Because the girl that I said through sickness and in health, for better or for worse, I'm now living that every day. She likes to help. She likes to serve. I'm in love with her. I don't like it. I didn't say I'm not grateful. That's different. I just don't like the girl that you're looking at in that picture, who I think is a godsend and the love of my life. I don't like having her help me shower. I know it sounds like it ain't fun. I don't like having her help me get dressed. I can do it by myself. It just takes me a couple hours. Shondell wants me to spend that couple hours that I would otherwise be getting dressed. She wants me to spend it with the kids in the morning as they start their day. She has me dressed in 5 minutes. I mean, she's nice about it. She'll ask me what I want to wear, and I'll tell her I want to wear my Wranglers and a Harley Davidson t-shirt. And then she puts on me whatever she wants. I discovered I wear outfits. I don't like that very much. She likes to have fun with my circumstance. And I'm grateful for that because it enables me to laugh a little bit. But what I'm going through right now is learning how to accept her help, receive her inspiration, remember, breathe life into, and receive it with gratitude. Takes me to the next point. When somebody gives you something, never forget it. When you give somebody something, don't remember it. Let me say it to you another way. Give without remembering, receive without forgetting who gave to you. Here's why it's important during this time of crisis in our country, in our world. A lot of times when we do something nice for other people, we expect something in return of equal value or greater value. It's just human nature. Maybe not for everybody, but for the business world it is. You pay for a car, you give something up for something. When you give something without remembering and you receive without forgetting, something amazing transforms in your mind and in your heart and your soul. You become a soul searcher. You become somebody that is willing to give no matter what the risks are to you. And we've seen those people on television. We've seen those nurses on the front lines who have caught the disease. There's a passage that I read in a book somewhere. It says this: greater love hath no man than he that layeth down his life for his friends. I'm not asking you guys to go catch COVID and to go catch the disease and to go in public. I just ask you to find someone in your house that you can be a little kinder to. Maybe watch their movie instead of yours. Maybe help mom do the dishes. Maybe write an email and send it off, or send a text message off to somebody in your family that says, hey, just want you to know I'm thinking about you today. Greater love hath no man than he that layeth down his life for his friends. We are seeing that now because of a world crisis, perhaps more now than ever before, more than we saw in 9/11. I don't want to take away from that. We're seeing that more than we've ever saw World War. We've lost more people than 3 of the latest wars combined. And you're seeing people that are still willing to get out there and serve and help, despite the risks they put themselves in to do so. What can you do? Find a way to inspire those in your circle. Remember, before my accident, I was looking for a way to make a living, make money. Since the accident, I've tried to find a way to breathe life into people, help, serve, spend time with my kids, be to their basketball games. And in so doing, the living has taken care of itself, because all things cycle. And this too, as I mentioned, will cycle. Next point, and maybe we'll go to some questions with Sharon. It's okay to lean on other people. Let me show you what it looks like. Throw up another picture there. Got it? Give me a thumbs up if we got it, Sharon. Give me a thumbs up. We got two boys in there? Okay, great. So look close at that picture. You'll notice that those boys are using me for stability. My fingers are wrapped around my youngest boy's rib cage. The oldest boy is standing close with his arm around my neck, and my fingers are wrapped tightly around his left thigh. I want you to look at that very closely. I love that picture. That picture is taken precisely 2 weeks before my accident. I love that photograph. Same 2 boys, 19 years later. Hey, Dad, you helped us all those years, Dad. Just put your arms around our shoulders. We got you covered. Hey, Dad, we'll carry you to the truck, Dad. Dad, we'll load you up, Dad. Dad, we're going to carry you to the front seat of the basketball game, Dad. You don't have to sit in your wheelchair, Dad. Dad, we'll help you on the bed, Dad. Whatever you need, Dad, we got you covered. If you look closely at their faces, look how they feel when they're breathing life into somebody. Look at their faces. Look at my face as the recipient. Humility. Grateful. A little bit of teary-eyed there. I mean, that's what it looks like. We didn't Photoshop this picture. That's how I feel every time they come help me out. Inspiration, it's written all over that. That's the meaning for that photograph. I mean, that's inspiration. Dad, now that you know the story behind that. So what are you doing to inspire other people? And I think that's a prime example right there. Sharon, maybe we'll do a couple of questions. Anything popped up?
Yes, most definitely, Chad. And just a reminder, if you're on Zoom, put your questions in the chat box. If you're on Facebook Live, we are keeping our eye on it as well. We do have a bunch of people on right now live with us. So hello, everyone. Thanks for your time. So the question that I have, this is something that I got from the video you just posted yesterday on your Chad Hymas page, all because of one video. And that is, what is the best way to open up to people who are not accepting our message for support? And what I mean by that is, I'm all happy, Emily's all happy, and we want to cheer people up. But right now, people probably don't want to be cheered up. They don't want to be surrounded by this type of energy. So yeah, what is the best way to open up to people who are not accepting that?
So again, and forgive me, Sharon, I tend to think a little bit the opposite. I don't think there's ever been a greater need in our lifetime of people that need to be surrounded by uplifting people. Here's the difference. Is it real or is it fake? Is it authentic or is it somebody just trying to get you to be part of their group? People can tell the difference. People are not stupid. If people are out there rendering help and you're trying to lift them up in a genuine, real way, people are going to be more open to that. If people feel like you're trying to lift them up and they can feel that fakeness, absolutely they're going to turn away from that. I would. And so the question becomes to me is are we being real with our kindness? Are we being authentic with our offerings? Are we being genuine when we're sitting down with our family because we want to spend time with them? Or is it just fake because we have nowhere else to go? We're stuck. We're stuck in that front room. I'm stuck in the bedroom with them. Think about this with my attitude. I could very easily go into the room tonight and just be ticked because I can't walk. And then they come in and I'll just say to Shondell, not able to travel, airplanes are shut down, the airport shut down, this thing's gonna go on forever, yada, yada, yada. And what's that gonna do to her? It's gonna bring her down. And then the kids, and remember what I said about what you think drives your actions drive results others get? Now, let's say I go into the house and I genuinely show some gratitude. And by the way, the best time to do that is when you're feeling down. If you want to get your mind off your own problems, find someone else to serve. Very, very. If you want to get your mind off your problems, your mental illness, I guess you can use prescriptions if you want. I'm cool with that. You can use drugs. Those are temporary if you ask me. Find someone to help. Find someone to serve. Two things happen. The first thing is your focus becomes on other people. That's real cool. The second thing's even better. Your problems, they don't go away. I'm still numb, but I don't have time to think about them. Now you know why I like being on this Zoom call tonight. Me being on this call, focusing on all of you that are watching, I don't have time to think about the fact that I'm numb. I'm thinking about you. And thank the God above, he only gave us the ability, the capacity to think about one thing at one time. So I don't mind being on these Zoom calls and being a part of a giving world. So back to Sharon's question, how do we make people open up? The truth is you can't make them open up. You can't make a horse drink that doesn't want to drink. But it doesn't mean you have to stop loving them. It doesn't mean you have to stop caring and being genuine. The day you stop doing that shows your lack of authenticity. You weren't really real in your approach. You weren't really authentic in your initial engagement.
Yeah.
I think I just, and I know that because I've lived it. I've played the game of being fake. I've played the game of trying to pretend to be happy, and I never was successful at that. Never was. So how did I find true happiness? Well, let's be real about that. I don't know that I have. I just know that I'm happy most of the time, and I still have bad days, and it's okay for that to happen.
That's awesome.
Well, I get asked all the time, Chad, when did you finally get to be happy? When did it finally happen? When did you hit that peak and then you finally made it? Are you kidding me? I still have bad days. Here's the catch. I can focus on the bad days and be miserable, unsuccessful, unhappy, very unproductive, or I can still focus on the good things that are going on in my life. Like, hey, I'm part of a podcast tonight. I'm part of Facebook Live. I'm teaming up with some friends that are in Southern Utah. I'm in Northern. I have a good family, great people surrounded by. When I'm focused on that, more comes to you in the process.
I love that. And then in that video from where I got the question, jump onto the Chad Hymas Facebook page. But the way you answered that in your video was just to drop to their level, not drop to their shoes. So if you want more answer regarding that question that I asked, make sure you jump on and like all of Chad's videos. But we're getting a handful of questions now, Chad, from all of our viewers on Facebook Live.
Yeah, so this one is from Sadie. So Sadie is asking, with socializing through networks other than physical, it seems more depressing or bad news over and over. So what's another way or a suggestion that you have for continuing human socializing in a positive manner rather than just on social networking platforms?
Awesome question. Thanks, Sadie, for asking. I had a couple quick thoughts that came to my mind. So social networks seems to be the fad, and the bar is very low right now because everybody's trying to go to that. Again, I'm going to just make it real simple. Just a couple quick thoughts, Sadie. When we're trying to social gather, not social distance, we physical distance, but what's a way that you can communicate with people? And again, I use FaceTime a lot. I don't like to put up necessarily a whole ton on Instagram or Facebook. Not there's anything wrong with that. I'm just saying for me, if I want to have that engagement like we're having now. Well, look what we're doing now. I just had a little chat with Sadie through somebody in the middle. I love that. So I got to know Sadie just a little bit. I'll probably have a relationship with her down the road, whatever that looks like, because we chatted virtual somebody in between mutually. And so I think that there are several ways to do that, a text message, or maybe it's just one-on-one communication. I can tell you, Sadie, that I've talked to my dad via the telephone more the last 30 days than I ever did in a single 30-day time frame the last 19 years. Dad, just calling to see how things are going, and he'll call me back. Son, just want to check in and see how you're doing. Are you staying home? And that's it. I mean, and my dad is not telling me he loves me. I don't think I've ever heard of it, but I know he does because people remember how you make them feel. We already talked about that. I'll never forget how my dad makes me feel when he calls me. I know the guy cares. So Sadie, to your question exact, I think there are several platforms. I think throwing out a blanket video to just try and be able, it doesn't necessarily solve or make you feel any better. I think when you talk to people and network with people that lift you up, when you socialize with people, and let me make it more specific, Sadie, pick 5 people that make you want to be your best self and talk to them at least every couple of days. No longer than that. Not 6, not 7. Pick 5, and those 5 can rotate. I mean, they can rotate. Pick 5 people that you're going to commit to talk to every couple of days. Because those 5 people.
I picked you, Chad.
Those people build you up. You always want to make people or pick people that help you be your best self. You're never number 1 in the group. You're never number 5. You're always number 3. You're always in the middle. So pick 5 that are number 4s and number 5s. And then you can rotate that group. And, I've got people in my group. I just got to talk to them every day. I've got to talk because they make me want to be a better husband. Sometimes my wife is in that group. Sometimes she's not. It's not because she's bad. Maybe it's because I need to be a better husband. So I want to talk to somebody that's a good dad that can help me reach that mark. Maybe it's somebody that maybe I'm having a hard time focusing because I'm not on the road. So I want to talk to somebody that's going through some of the same things that I'm going through. So they're going to be in my top 5 that week or the next week. That 5 can rotate. Sadie, thanks for having the courage to ask a question. Thanks.
Yeah, that was such a good question. And I think obviously, Chad, your answer is so applicable to all of us. We have another question that's coming from the Zoom chat right here.
And I'll go if you want to read it. That would be great.
So with the situation in the world, the world is in right now, a lot of us have had to make some really quick, critical decisions in our lives. Some lead to hard, crucial conversations that have to happen whether we want them to happen or not. Do you have any suggestions on how to have or lead up to those hard conversations that we have with the people in our lives?
Yeah.
Great question, Big Mel.
That's an awesome question. Number 1, don't ignore the conversation. Don't ignore it. The toughest conversation, or one of the toughest I had was with my daughter. And I had a hard time with her response because I wasn't being empathetic. I had that conversation the day before they stopped school that school is going to cease the way that she knew it, and it will cease for the rest of her life the way that we know it. That's a fact. People are going to be taught now differently forever. This will change the world forever. The way that people learn, the way that we teach, the way that we homeschool, how that all works and pans out. I don't know the answers to that, but I know that when I told my daughter that and had that tough conversation, she thought her whole life was shot. Senior year, graduation, cheerleader, all this stuff, dating, I mean, everything that's going on, prom, all that's her whole life now in her eyes is just shot. But what I found is once I had the conversation, I showed empathy, and then I gave it a little bit of time for her to saturize it, for her to soak it in a little bit, and then for her to come back the next morning, and for me to say, Gracie, it's okay to feel those feelings. Gracie, it's really okay. I don't have the answer to everything. I just kept consistent with my care, with my unconditional devotion towards three things: her needs, her fears, and her victories. I wanted her to know that she was an A student in my book. Three things. So this message is coming from Bignell, Mr. Dutson, right? Needs, fears, and victories of others, and stay consistent with that. Fulfill needs, help people overcome fears, and by gosh, help them celebrate their victories. Something as small as, hey, sweetheart, I'm glad that you're studying with a family. Sweetheart, thank you for participating in this worldwide prayer that we might be able to overcome this. God will hear our prayers. Can we come together as a people and be humble? And those that call him Allah, great, let's get involved. Those that are Jewish, great, let's come together. Those that are Muslim, great, let's come together. No one better than the other. And let's come together and ask somebody that has more knowledge and power than all of us combined for his help. Because right now, folks, we need it.
Yeah, I totally agree. And I think the most important thing that you just said is celebrating our victories, because Bignell, I know that you have your hands on a very large project. And sometimes when you have such a large project, which Chad, you can relate because of your event center, Bignell's kind of in the similar industry, that doesn't matter what type of success it is or how small, it's so important. And find a way to celebrate your wins and your accomplishments that you've achieved to this point.
Love it. Yeah, love it.
Sure.
So I have a quick question for you, Chad. So you interact with a whole lot of people all the time. In your opinion, what is the main thing that our communities need the most right now? What can business leaders or just influencers in our little communities, what can we do for everybody? What's needed the most right now?
I can tell you what it's not. It's not money, although some think that that's the answer. It's not. Food. What we need is hope. There's no such thing as false hopelessness. Because for everything we don't know, there's more that we do. And tomorrow will be a better day. There's no such thing as false hopelessness. So we need hope that tomorrow will be a better day. And we need to continue that day after day after day. Even if it's just a small glimmer of hope. I didn't say you had to have a whole bunch of hope or you have to get out there gung-ho and be happy and hunky-dory for everybody. Just be a hopeful people. And if you exercise that hope, I had to do that with my circumstance, even though I was still numb. I hope that I can be a good dad. I hope that I can teach him how to play basketball. I hope that I can be a good husband to her, even though I can't stand up and dance with her. And that hope turned into confidence, which turned into now, long story short, 25 years of marriage. Statistically, most likely aren't married or stay married. I'm not saying that to brag. Shondell has taught me how to have hope in our marriage, how to have hope in our relationship, and how to exercise that. And I want you all to exercise that with some of the challenges that you're facing. I have a couple other things I could share as well. So
yes, please, Chad. And then we do have one more for you. Keep going.
So I just want to share something kind of cool. Let me show you kind of what it looks like. So this is kind of a cool shot, you guys. So Shondell and I have the two boys. There they are. And then we adopted this little boy. And we also have Gracie. Gracie's adopted as well. We got him from Ethiopia. My wife went on a mission trip over to Ethiopia. It wasn't an adoption trip. It was, you know, a trip to go and serve the people of Ethiopia and the main city there. While she was there, she found this little boy hiding behind a urinal in an orphanage. I don't know how to, you want to talk about losing everything. This kid's in an orphanage hiding behind a urinal. I mean, I know that we're going through a downturn in our economy and things are rough. This kid is hiding behind a urinal in an orphanage. My wife hears him. He's not crying. That's his place of comfort. That's his home. That's where he's comfortable. Shondell goes into the urinal and she hears him doing something behind there and she says something to him in English. This kid doesn't speak English. He speaks Amharic. So he hides behind the toilet. Soiled toilet seat, soiled toilet floor, and that's his kid's place of tranquility. That's his kid's place of comfort. Not because it smells good or it's a nice place or it's a luxurious bedroom. It's just a place where he doesn't have to deal with some of the challenges he had to deal with. What did he have to deal with? He wasn't accepted by his peers. He had an open mouth and some jaw problems and some teeth problems, and he looked different than other people. Similar to a cleft palate. My wife drew a picture for him and stuffed it behind the toilet seat. He drew a picture back, and that's how they started their communication. Do you remember the question that we just got, the one before the last one? How do we connect with people? My wife drew on a piece of paper a stick figure with a smile. So she didn't use Facebook. She didn't use Instagram. She didn't use social media. She drew a stick figure with a smiley face. This kid responds back with another stick figure, open mouth, with something that was drawn at the top. Shondell didn't know what it was. It wouldn't take her long. She gained his trust. He came out from behind the toilet seat and she saw him for the first time. She saw what was wrong. It was visible. This is a more recent picture. My wife decided right then and there she wanted him home. Took her 9 months to get him across the Atlantic. We got him home. And he had some surgeries done and had some teeth work done. And that's what he looks like today. And this kid, Leslie is my witness. She's here with me in the office. He is one of the most special human beings. Not because of what he went through, although it gives him credibility and a foundation. My other two boys, they played basketball. My daughter races barrels on a horse. This kid's different. This kid's brilliant. He likes to study. He likes to read. He likes to read specifically about the anatomy of the face. Because that's where his downfall was. This kid's going to end up fixing people's faces all over the world. That's his dream. That's his passion. My dream, always to be a farmer. Today I'm farming people on Facebook. This kid's dream, go fix people's faces. That kid will be a dentist or an orthodontist or an oral surgeon. I don't know. I'm just telling you, he's absolutely brilliant. Why do I share that with you? I just want to know if you have the same vision as that kid right there. If you think he's in it for the money, he doesn't even know what money is, folks. All he wants to do is to find a place to help. Do you have a desire to help other people? I didn't say you had to go buy them dinner. I didn't say you had to go give your blood. I didn't say you had to wear a mask out in public. Do you have the desire that that kid has right there burning within his flesh to serve, help, and love other people? When I see that kid, and I get to see him now every day because I'm home every day, he inspires me to be a better dad. Here's our latest family photo. We'll kind of wrap it up with this. Check that out. There's Shondell, 25 years. She got lucky with me. There's the two boys. I just joking. That's not true. There's the two boys. There's your first glance of right there. There's Caleb right there. That's his name, Caleb. I didn't even think I'd have a family when my economy tanked 19 years ago. I thought that being alone, I thought that suicide was a much better option. That picture is proof that suicide is still hope for better tomorrow. When I see that picture right there, I know that the cycle will change. I know that we'll get through this pandemic, that we're going to get through the challenges that we're all going through. And I just hope that you guys do experience some of the results that you're seeing in that picture right there, whatever that is for you.
I love that. Look at that family, Chad. Wow. And make sure you jump off screen share. So we're just going to ask you 2 more questions and then we're going to wrap it up. So for me, I'm a strong believer, and you know this, that you can have the most amazing attitude even in the worst circumstances. I almost drowned from having a seizure in the shower, and I'm still the most happiest person in the world. So other than having a great attitude, keeping consistent, and celebrating our victories, we choose to change consistently. So what are tips that you would like to share that will allow us to change and adapt to our businesses right now?
So here's the key thing is people don't like change. So for those of you that refuse to change with a changing economy, with the way that we do business, here's one. If I were to refuse to change the kind of clothes that I wear, because now I'm numb. So for me, putting on the clothes I used to wear isn't as easy. If I were to refuse to change that, this presentation would be not acceptable on social media because I'd be naked. Think about that for a second. If I refuse to change, I would be naked right now. If I refuse to change the way that I court my spouse, I'd be divorced right now. If I refuse to change with a world that changes, life is more painful. I lived through that. So what's the message? Be willing to change with a changing world. We're going to have to change the way that we educate our kids. That's going to happen. We're going to have to change the way that people work in the workplace. Why? Because people are going to realize that, hey, I can do the same job from home that I can do at the office. So that's going to change. Things are going to change for the way that we meet and gather together. I mean, think about this for a second. The cases that came out, the first cases that came out in America were contracted by people in hotel ballrooms, my very, very atmosphere. If you think that that's not going to change the way people meet after the lawsuits come out and insurance, and again, I don't know much about that. I just have thought about this. It's going to change the way that we gather together as a people in large groups. If I refuse to change my business in accordance with that, I'll probably lose my business. So be willing to change with the changing circumstances. Again, remember, more comes to you in the process. Those that refuse change will find themselves paralyzed for the rest of their life.
I love that. That's so smart.
So Chad, some people are texting me like, hey, how did Chad get hurt? How did Chad get hurt? I missed it. So just a quick reminder that Chad was involved with a serious accident. A 2,000-pound hay bale did land on him when he was working on his farm 19 years ago. So for those who are jumping on, wanting to know what happened to Chad, he is paralyzed from the neck down from it. But Chad, I'm looking at all of your achievements. So your accident was in 2001. In 2003, you set a world record by wheelchairing his chair in Salt Lake to Las Vegas. You went from Salt Lake to Las Vegas 2 years after your accident. Like, what wanted you to challenge yourself to improve on your weaknesses? Because that's amazing.
So I didn't want to be like everybody else. And my dad didn't want me to be like everybody else. I don't think that God put us on this earth to be like everybody else. Be the best version of you that you can be. You don't have to be anything else. What's that have to do with me racing my chair? I've always liked to be competitive. And it was a way for me to prove to myself that I could be different. And so that record is what that stood for. It's not about the record. It's not about going to Las Vegas. It's probably the stupidest thing I've ever done. But for me, it was a way for me to show that I could be different, and a way for me to do what my friend Art Berg said, make the impossible become more probable, because we're willing to adapt to change. So that's what that marathon stands for. Is for me, I don't have to be like somebody that stands up. I don't have to have the biceps that others have. I don't have to have the hair that somebody else has. I don't have to look or do other people. I need to be the best version of me that I can be. And I don't think anybody else should seek any differently. It's when we start trying to be a statistic that we kind of
I think
start
you
to
should
fall
wear
apart.
a hat like that more often, Chad. It looks
Well,
really good on you.
yeah,
There you go.
maybe
Yeah.
maybe a little bit of bling.
That's awesome. I love it.
We can get
Well,
some. I mean, I love country, but I can get some rap going. I mean, I'm not against rappers. I could rap.
Love
So,
it.
Let's hear it. Do you got a rap for us, Chad? I would love to hear
you're
Chad
gonna put me
Hymas.
on the spot. All right, I don't have a rap. I don't. All the rap that I listen to is not appropriate for. No, I'm just joking. I don't have a rap. I don't have a rap.
All right. Well, we'll ask
That's
you
a rap.
That's a wrap. Yeah, thank you so much, Chad, for hopping on, and all of you who have hopped on. If you're just now hopping on our Facebook Live, make sure that you watch the replay. There is so much good stuff in here that can really help you. I know it will. I know it will be applicable to you. One of my main takeaways from this was be careful what you are feeding your mind. That's something that I know that I need to be careful with, and remember to practice gratitude so that I don't fall into pits of anxiety through all of this. So thank you for that reminder, Chad. I really, really loved that.
I think my number one takeaway is I really loved, I don't know why it sparked my heart, but to celebrate your victories. And your victories can be even small. It can be, and I get emotional, it could be waking up and being alive, being able to hug someone, walk, run, public speak, it doesn't matter. Celebrate your victories. I think that was my number one takeaways. But yes, you can rewatch this video on Facebook Live. This will also be on our YouTube channel. So make sure you go over to She Sparks Business and subscribe over there. And also go to our Facebook and Instagram page at She Sparks Business. Chad, if they would like to know a little bit more about you and how they can serve Chad Hymas, where should they go?
Well, you don't need to serve me, but if you want, if anything that we've talked about today has some value, or you'd like to share it with a family member or a friend or a colleague or someone that might be struggling, or you just want to fill your cup, you can find a lot of what we've talked about today on my Instagram handle or YouTube as well, and it's just my name, Chad Hymas. You can Google my name and you can rewatch the video. There was a reenactment that was done. Share that with your families as well. There's some pretty clever things that people have done for us that they put up. So hopefully you can find enjoyment and fulfillment in that.
Most definitely. Well, thank you so much for your time and sharing your message today, Chad. We appreciate it. I needed to hear it. Not sure about all of you others that are watching.
Oh no,
right
we're
now.
getting a lot of love. People
A
are
lot of
loving
love.
it. Thank you so much,
Yes,
Chad.
we love it. And do you have any last words, Chad, before we end this meeting?
Just a reminder, in a half hour is when I'm going to start my plead for help with my family. I'm not here to be spiritual. I'm not a pastor. I'm not ordained to do this. So don't think that. I'm not here to throw any faith or religion on you. Will you join me? This is an invitation. Will you join me in a prayer of hope for humanity? We need that right now. And so that would be my, if you want to join in that, I don't want that to be a service towards me. I'm inviting you to join in that, and over the next 24 hours, put yourself in a place of potential to receive a change, because we need it. There are people out there that need food, need medical help. There are people out there that are really struggling mentally as well. And so will you help us out with that in your own way?
Thank you so much for sharing that. Those are powerful, and I hope we all can do our part to feel humble and just feel grateful for what we have and what we can do for everyone else. And so, Chad, thank you so much for your time. It's so great to see your smiling face and your hat sideways and just your humor and your knowledge. And so with that said, thank you, everyone. Check out our website at shesparksbusiness.com.
Bye.
See ya.
Thank you.